Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. As always, your host with the most, Ghost. Today we got our top 10 current superstars list. This is going to be my favorite current superstars in WWE and NXT. Gonna just kind of mesh them both together here because in my eyes, NXT and WWE are pretty much one and the same. Um, Even WWE doesn't really acknowledge it. I consider NXT under the WWE umbrella. Um, the guys in NXT work hard to kind of move up into the main roster, and sometimes the NXT takeovers end up a lot better than the WWE pay per views. We've seen it time and time again where the takeover show is so much better than the pay per view the next night. Um, so let's get into this, guys. This is a video I may do a couple times a year. Let me know your thoughts on the video. Comment down below your top 10 favorite current superstars, whether it's on Raw, SmackDown, 205, NXT. Comment down below your top 10 current superstars. Let's get into this with number 10. Number 10 is going to be a veteran. Going to go with Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton is kind of overlooked at times, and I always said, Randy Orton could be one of the best of all time if WWE really put their minds together and pushed this man to the limit. He could be a technical wrestler. He could brawl. He's got a good ground game. I think Randy Orton is one of the most complete wrestlers. And he's been one of my favorites since 2002. I've always had a keen eye on Orton and, third generation, 13-time world champ, IC champ, US champion. He's pretty much done it all at this point. He's one of the few men to win Money in the Bank and a Royal Rumble. Number 9 on my list is going to be another former NXT champion now, Andrade Cien Almas. I just absolutely love the pairing between him and Selena Vega. I think it works very well the way they have them paired up. It worked a lot better in NXT. I think WWE should kind of focus a little more on that than little nuances. They can stretch them out in a big way at times. At times I thought Almas was in line for a U.S. title run with Rey Mysterio. Looked like that kind of got axed, but Mysterio's out with an injury. Almas could still be a U.S. champ at some point. Highly skilled is Cien Almas, and he's been a favorite of mine since that takeover match with Johnny Gargano. He's the one to keep an eye out for. He'll be a world champion by time you know it. Number 8 on my list is gonna go to a women's champion right now, Bayley. Now I'm a big fan of Bayley. Ever since I've seen Bayley and Sasha's match at NXT Brooklyn, I thought Bayley really captured the hearts of a lot of fans. And WWE is so insane the way they book people, the way they put these stupid storylines with some people. They just kind of overdo it every time, and Bayley's one of those stars. She doesn't need much. Just give her a match, give her an opponent, and let her do her thing in the ring. Again, I think she's growing on me, definitely. I think she could be a little needs a little bit more fine tuning in terms of in ring, but overall, I love to watch Bayley. She's overlooked at times. I feel in terms of popularity, and with Charlotte, Bayley Sasha and Becky. I feel like Bailey is probably at the bottom of a lot of people's lists, with Charlotte being the more dominant, Becky being the outlaw or the rebel, and then Sasha uh, kind of has her own name carved out for her. So I always liked Bailey, and that's why she made it on my list. Number 7, gonna go with a tag team here. So you guys could put tag teams, you could put a faction on your list. As long as you got 10 entries, comment down below, like I've said. So number 10, or number 7, sorry. I'm going to go with the Usos. The Usos have been really impressing me lately in the later part of this year. I believe they're, a 6-time tag champs by now. They've been going at this for almost a decade. I feel like the Usos could definitely be at that main event level. I'd like to see a tag team match main event to pay-per-view eventually. I know WWE likes to push their world title matches as main events, but I feel like the Usos are a tag team that could definitely main event to pay-per-view eventually. Multi-time tag champs. They've definitely improved their game over the last year or so. Number 6 in our top 10 current. Number 6 is going to be Charlotte Flair. Slowly but surely, Charlotte Flair is going to main event another WrestleMania. She should have probably main evented versus Becky alone or versus Ronda alone. That got turned into a triple threat match under circumstances we could not control. At this time, Charlotte is now an 7 or 8-time women's champion. She's definitely the top woman in WWE, whether she's champion or not. I believe she's one of the biggest draws of the women's division. And when she's pushed properly, she could be unstoppable. Her matches are always great. And just like Bailey, she needs a little bit more fine tuning, but overall her in-ring and mic skills are good. I'm not the type of guy, I really don't care how many times she wins the title. Obviously she's gonna break her father's record, or at least tie it. She's gonna be the 16-time women's champion eventually, and does that bother me? Not really. I could care less, actually. But Charlotte Flair, she's definitely, one of the top women probably of all time. She's carved her own niche out. She's adopted some, things from her father. She's doing her own thing, and that's why she's number 6 on my list. Number 5, top 5 here. Number 5 could be number 1 on your list. And he's been number 1 on my list before. In fact, he moved down a couple pegs. Haven't really been impressed with Rollins all that much, but he is one of my favorites to watch, and he's still the Universal Champion, Seth Rollins. Overall, I feel like WWE could be doing a much better job with how Seth Rollins is being booked. He hasn't defended the Universal title on Raw since the night after WrestleMania 35. I'm one of those guys that feel like the Monday Night Raws, the SmackDowns, those are the shows that should kind of be booked around the champion. And it feels like when you watch Raw, they're just doing segment, match after match after match, where nothing really goes together. It's just, okay, what do we have for tonight? Okay, we have all these matches. Let's just go one after another, and nothing flows together. Nothing is put together well. That's not the champion's fault. That's not any of the superstars' faults. That's ultimate creative and the head man, Mr. McMahon. But I think Rollins, overall, he's definitely one to look out for. He's improved his game a whole lot since being a member of the Shield And overall, I do love, his in ring, just straight up awesome is Seth Rollins. Number 4, unfortunately, Undertaker did not make this list. I just feel Undertaker doesn't appear enough to make a list like this. So I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar. Similar to Undertaker, Lesnar is a very limited schedule. But for the amount Lesnar appears, he's worth putting on a list like this to me. Um, he was Universal Champion, I think, a little too long in the latter part of last year. I did like his build to WrestleMania this year. And Brock Lesnar, he's one of those guys, he's so unpredictable in what he's going to do. Where you could go to a squash match with Braun Strowman into a classic with guys like Styles and Daniel Bryan and great matches with Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. Lesnar's one of those guys where he comes across lazy and complacent at times, and then he can just wow you in the next moment. Overall, I think Lesnar should be sat down at some point and kind of straightened out a bit. Come on, put your head in the game a bit and, put on some classics. From 2002 to 2004, Lesnar was a bit underrated at times, and he was putting out classics with Eddie and Kurt and Undertaker month after month. Number 3 on my list is going to be the only faction on my list. I'm going to go with the Undisputed Era, current champion, NXT champ, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Roddy Strong. They have been the dominant force down in NXT for 2 or 3 years now. It's been a while. 17, 18, going on 3 years now. And every time we turn around, there's a new twist in this Undisputed Era, from Roderick Strong joining the original trio, making it a 4-person stable. They've held every title from the NXT Championship, North American Championship, several Tag Team Championship runs. I think Undisputed Era could be a mainstay in NXT, where the NXT brand is kind of built around Undisputed Era. Number 2 on my list is going to be Johnny Gargano. Unfortunately, Johnny could have been number 1. I had him slaughter a bit lower earlier, but I feel Johnny is just unbelievably talented. He could be number 1 on anyone's list. He's that good. I believe he's taken a lot of advice from Shawn Michaels, from Triple H. He's been on indies for so many years, and his style is high action. He's great seller, very technical wrestler. He could pull it all off from the acrobatic standpoint to the entertainment standpoint. He's not that good on the mic, but I was just kind of upset his NXT title reign never lasted that long. In fact, all of his title reigns have been fairly short. I'll be pretty upset when Gargano makes it to the Raw or SmackDown and gets misused, because I could definitely see how things are going to go for him already. Whether they push him to 205 Live, I'll be very disappointed. Number 1 on my list should be no surprise to you guys. He's a former WWE champion, former US champion. It's not the big dog, and it sure ain't Roman Reigns, but it's the phenomenal AJ Styles. Two-time WWE champion. He held that title for almost a year straight. Very hard to do in this era of WWE. We don't see many lengthy title reigns like that anymore. We've seen just about a week ago now, the Club reformed. They did a little vignette at Stomping Grounds where they confronted Ricochet. So I think the club could be a dominant force on Raw. I believe we're gonna get a Styles Ricochet match at Extreme Rules, maybe at SummerSlam as well, where they'll have a little rematch. But I'm happy Styles is staying with WWE for another contract. He could very well be the face of WWE if they pushed him to that degree. He always has great matches, whether he's in the ring with Baron Corbin, Jinder Mahal, Daniel Bryan, or John Cena. Um, since 2016 when he arrived, AJ Styles has put out 4 to 5 star matches month after month, pay per view after pay per view. He's aged well. He gets better with age, like they say. And AJ Styles is a first ballot Hall of Famer. It'll be sad to see when he officially retires. I really hope they go all out with this club reforming. Put the tag titles on the club. Put the U.S. or Universal title on AJ Styles. Have them be dominant on Monday Night Raw. And have them just go through everyone. Have them dominate the tag division. Dominate the singles division. Just have them attack people randomly and put some gas behind these three guys. Um, I always said, the club could be the today's version of the NWO with Gallows and Anderson, kind of like the Hall and Nash outsiders, and AJ Styles is no Hulk Hogan, but he's the definitive leader of the club here. Let me know your thoughts on my top 10. Comment down below your top 10 current superstars. If you'd like to include AEW, Ring of Honor, or TNA Impact on this list, feel free to do so. As always, guys, we'll talk to you later. Peace.